Well, we have officially fallen back, and although I'm not a fan of it getting dark at 4 p.m., I'm so thankful that we have not yet had a hard frost and the flowers are still blooming. We've also had some beautifully crisp and dry days between the heavy wind and rain, which means I've been hustling to get the garden chores done so that when the rain does inevitably come and stay, I can hibernate inside with a cup of tea. Today I'm weeding, transplanting, and staking, and installing some edge bricks to define a perimeter flower bed after revising my initial summer landscaping plan. Blueberry bush was filled with weeds, so I'm working to get all those weeds out of here and get it mulched to protect it in the winter because it is going to stay in this pot. Because as usual, I'm going to be rejigging my landscaping next year just to incorporate some more planting areas and get some more of the stuff that's in the pots in the ground. So getting this weed free, and I have a bunch of sod left over from all of the landscaping I've done over the summer. And essentially it was just giant pieces of sod, which is just grass and dirt and weeds. So I've been working to shake all the sod out and use the dirt in all the different areas of the yard and raised beds and pots. Part of the original plan from this summer's landscaping rejig included manually removing the grass from this area and creating a new mulch bed along the sidewalk, but I quickly learned that pushing a lawnmower through mulch is the definition of insanity. So I removed all of the mulch and laid grass seed to undo everything I did. I know you're not supposed to fertilize in the fall, but because most of this is sod dirt, I figured it won't hurt too bad to mix in some down-to-earth all-purpose fertilizer to pot up these plants. I've neglected my bird and bee bath for the past couple days, and I know a very spoiled cat who is very disappointed in me. So I'm just rubbing some of the algae off of the rocks with my hands and rinsing them and refreshing the bowl for all who wish to bathe in it or drink from it. Now that I've ADD'd enough, back to the fire pit pad to pot up all of these starts that were propagated in water. I've got 2 genuine heirloom tomatoes, and one doesn't have roots and one does, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop both of them up because tomatoes are very quick to root as long as you keep the medium moist. I've also got 2 snow pea starts. Oh, squirrel. Just kidding, it's Max. I just wanna show you that this is the reality. One wonderful thing about the landscaping rejig I did this summer was that I've got little piles of mulch speckled throughout the yard, which makes it super easy to access no matter where I am. So I'm gonna grab a bucket of mulch for the plants I'm gonna pot up over by the fire pit. I also have this 3rd tomato of an unknown variety that was stashed away in a small pot, not doing so well, but I know I can revive it back to life if I clean it and pot it up. These are the Oregon sugar pod snow peas that were propagated in water that I'm just cleaning up, removing any yellow or dead leaves. Also a good time to harvest any of the ripe peas. I try to be as resourceful as possible and reuse things as much as I can, and I really love these small and medium-sized nursery pots, especially the thicker ones that I've been able to use year after year. And you might notice that I'm quite utilitarian in that sense these days because for the most part, beautiful pots are a bit of a pain outside. And there are some instances where beautiful pots make sense, like on the front porch or for something that's not going to be moved around as much, but especially for seasonal vegetables or herbs that are frequently refreshed, I really like using nursery pots. So if you're buying new plants, hang on to the nursery pots, but if you happen to have thrown away or recycled your nursery pots in the past, I know that some big box hardware stores keep a stash of nursery pots on the outside of their garden centers where it's give and take kind of trust system, because I used to take mine there, but now these things are like solid gold to me. You couldn't pry them out of my cold dead hands. Okay, this is the one that does not have roots yet. And this one has a couple roots. This hose bib had been leaking, so I shut it off for a while, and since it's been raining, fixing it was put on the later list. And it's later, so let's fix it. Tightening the handle didn't help, it was already snug, but tightening the packing nut is what stopped the leak. But later I came back and loosened it a little bit so that the handle would turn more easily. It's a few days later and there aren't as many engines being revved, so I had a relaxing and leisurely time watering the plants that I just potted up and refreshing the bird, bee, and max water, because I guess that's what I'm calling it. I'm also going to work on staking and tying up some of the plants that need support. Did you drink all the bees' water? Yeah. Are you rotten? And I cut these a little bit bigger just so that when I do need to move them up, it's easier. And then I just pruned off anything that's touching the mulch to avoid disease. This is already broken right here, so I'm gonna snip that. I will still tie this up though because it will grow from there. And this one's also broken. I guess note to self, don't manhandle these when you go to repot them. And because I already have two in a pot over there, I'm gonna go ahead and transplant this one and put this one in a raised bed. I'm gonna go ahead and strip all these leaves, bottom leaves off, and then roots will grow from the nodes. That way it'll be even stronger. Oh look, there's already a fruit. When I did the planning for this summer's rejig, I did my spaghetti diagram for all the places that I walked, pushed a lawnmower and a wheelbarrow, but I guess I've just never pushed a lawnmower through mulch, so I didn't think about how absolutely horrible and borderline impossible it would be. So the huge mulch patch had to go. And this is my method for laying edge pavers. I use this garden weasel to edge the border, and knock on wood, I've left this thing out in the rain and it has survived, so I'll link it below. It is one of my favorite garden tools. As I'm creating the edge, any dirt that gets removed is put close by in a bucket so that I can use it to level out and backfill as needed. And I've used sand before to backfill because I had it left over from another project, but I don't know that I'll do that again because ants seem to love sand. And I'm never gonna take a level to any of this. I eyeball as best as I can and determine the next brick's dirt level based on the brick next to it, and dry fit and hit the brick with the rubber mallet a few times so that I can see where the brick has made contact with the dirt, and that helps me to fill in any places that have not made contact. I will not lie to you, I did mess up because I started from the outside because I wanted to make sure that I was sawing away just enough but not too much of the snowball tree root that was in the path of the bricks. So I had to pull everything and start at the opposite end where the existing bricks ended, which ends up being fine because the little gap that it leaves at the end of the sidewalk allows for plenty of room for my drip irrigation lines. And while I could cut a brick to fit, I can't be bothered and I think it's gonna look weird and I'm never gonna notice it and it's not gonna bother me, so I'm good. This also reiterates to me the importance of a dry fit. I'm so glad I dry fit this before laying the cement. I've installed these bricks before, but this year I've started to give them a little cement border to prevent the grass from getting into the beds and prevent the bricks from shifting over time. I edge the bed a little bit wider than the bricks, sprinkle dry cement between the grass and the bricks, and use an old dish brush to clean up before wetting the cement to set it. And I know this is not the correct way to pour cement, but this is what's worked for me and this application. I love watching time lapse of people work, even if it's myself. This is the first time I've ever done time lapse or watched myself work, but it's just so cute watching me stomp on these bricks like a balance beam. And while I know I should probably wait for the cement to cure, I wanted to clean up the edge of the bed to level it out again because I had moved the dirt and the mulch so many times at this point that it was a mess, let's be real. So cleaning that up, and again, just some satisfying time lapse, man. And I don't mind doing this kind of stuff. Like, this is super satisfying to me because you see the efforts and it's just instant gratification. So luckily, right as I finished, it did start pouring rain. So perfect timing, job well done. I think it looks great and I'm super excited for all of the new square footage I have in this bed. And once this grass gets filled in and lush, it's gonna look so good. Thank you for watching today's video, and coming up I'll be decorating for Christmas and catching you up on all of the dahlia hybridizing, so subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss a video.